One of the first orders of business for the new Republican Congress is to take on late-term abortion. A new bill has been introduced that would create a national ban on abortion after the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. According to Congressman Trent Franks of Arizona, more than 18,000 very late-term abortions are performed every year on perfectly healthy unborn babies in America. So what are the specifics behind the bill? And what does it mean for reproductive rights? I was joined earlier by Terry O'Neill with the National Organization for Women. Now, much of this bill is based on the idea that the fetus at this point feels pain at 20 weeks. I asked O'Neill how that will affect public opinion.
The reality is that prior to 20 weeks, at 20 weeks, is well before viability. In fact, the so-called science that anti-abortion activists say shows that fetuses can feel pain at 20 weeks is, in fact, junk science. We have a recently released study that shows, once again, it's junk science. It's just not true. That's number one. Number two, later-term abortions are undertaken by women for very good reasons. But an example of the disdain for women that undergirds this 20-week ban that has just been introduced in the House of Representatives is that it only makes sense if you first presume that women are liars, that women are fickle, that they don't know anything about what it means to bring a child into the world. It's demeaning, it's offensive, and it's deeply unconstitutional.
So much of the complaints on bans like this to protect women many times is because women in these positions, as you mentioned, are in very difficult positions, and there are kind of a myriad of reasons why a woman might seek an abortion at any time, but especially at this point. In this bill, there are some exceptions that have been built into it. In case it's necessary to save the life of a pregnant woman, it says, or the pregnancy is a result of rape, the result of incest against a minor. Is that an acceptable compromise in your mind?
Actually, it's not a compromise at all. In fact, there is no life exception.
Is it political gamesmanship?
The so-called life exception in the bill, if you read the bill, it's only some kinds of threats of death. Other types of threats of death don't count.
What kinds do count?
If the woman's life is endangered by this kind of a situation or that kind of a situation, which by its terms means that any other kind of a situation does not count. The rape or incest, oh no, it is not an exception for rape or incest. It's only if the incest was committed against a minor woman, and only if the rape has been reported to the authorities within a certain period of time. It's very narrow, very but. And you can see what's underlying those buts. It's we don't trust women. I personally do trust women, and in fact what I know is that the vast majority of women who terminate pregnancies already have children. They know what it is to bring a child into the world. Most pregnancies, if they're going to be terminated, are terminated in the first 13 to 14 weeks. Those that are terminated later are terminated, as I said, for any number of very good reasons.
Can you give me a couple that you're aware of?
Oh, sure. Fetal anomalies, the fetus is not developing properly, or the woman becomes ill and she can't carry the pregnancy. Those are actually the two main reasons. The second trimester abortions are much rarer because first-term abortions are now legal and safe. But here's what happens. If the 20-week ban passes, the only way you can uphold that law is to completely overturn Roe v. Wade. Over 70% of voters in this country have said over and over again they want Roe v. Wade to remain the law of the land. The 20-week abortion ban undercuts, not only undercuts, but overturns Roe versus Wade, makes that impossible. And you can't draw...
How does it overturn Roe versus Wade?
Because it's well prior to viability. Viability is the line in the sand that Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey, those two cases, draws. It's viability. We know that viability occurs roughly a month or a month and a half after 20 weeks. So 20 weeks is well prior to viability, so you can't actually draw a principled distinction between 20 and 18 and 15 and 6 weeks. Arkansas passed a 6-week ban on abortion some years ago, and that hasn't been put into effect because it's clearly unconstitutional. But the reason the Ninth Circuit ruled Arizona's 20-week ban unconstitutional on its face is that there is no conceivable set of circumstances in which it would pass muster under Roe v. Wade and the Casey decision. So the effect of the 20-week ban is to overturn Roe v. Wade, which flies in the face of what 70% of voters want. Now, if you look at the polls that suggest that 60% of voters think a 20-week ban is just fine, what you find is that those very people have not been informed that 20 weeks overturns Roe v. Wade.
And if they become aware of that, it changes their view.
It will change their view, guaranteed.
Interesting stuff. Terry O'Neill with the National Organization for Women. Great insight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.